Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: how did your high school crush turn out as an adult? Became a professional cheerleader, died of breast cancer at 34. Googling names from high school is crazy. Edit to add, thanks for all the support Reddit family. I'm also surprised how many on here know her, and in a way makes me feel better that such a beautiful girl did make an impact on people's hearts and assured me she is not forgotten. My crush became an NFL cheerleader. Still alive though. And, no, we never dated and she didn't remember me at the class reunion. Nothing personal, mate. High amount of concussions in that sport. I don't know about you guys, but I had way too many crushes in high school. Lol, yeah, I read the post title and thought, which one? Well, isn't it obvious? The one that got away. So yeah, all of them then. His friend murdered him over a girl. Yikes. She ended up dating and marrying the guy who bullied me all through middle school and high school. They seem like a functional family from what I see on social media. You were 2 murders away from being Snape. My English teacher still looks fine as fuck. Mine was ancient back in 1985. If she's still around now, she must be a vampire. God bless you, Mrs. Cunningham, you put up with me, tried your best, and I still turned out shit. Mine was only about 4 years older than me and dropped out halfway during university. My wife's former crush randomly messaged her on Facebook one day. She fucked him on day 2. She's now my ex-wife, she's jobless living with his mom, and I have the kids. Edit, it would figure that this is my most upvoted post. My kids are 5 and 3, so they don't understand it much, but I'm hoping for the long game when they realize which parent was really there for them. My son still says hurtful things at times like, I don't want to live with you anymore, I want to live with mommy, when he's angry. Thank you everyone for making my week, I really needed to smile. It's my son's first week in kindergarten and dealing with her through the process has been hell. Kids do not understand, but believe me, when they get older and learn the truth they will absolutely back you up. Stay strong. I think the fact he's a dude and managed to win custody tells us all we need to know. Those kids won't have a shred of doubt who the parent that cared about them most is. That sucks, man, but stay strong. It gets better. I divorced my wife when my daughter was 5 because my ex had some bullshit of wanting to know if she could be loved by other people. For a long while I'd get the I miss being with you and mom together and the I miss me. After I had to tell her no on something or another. She's 9 now and totally outgrown those moments, thankfully. But it definitely stings when she would come out with things like that. My kid is 22 and still says things to me like, I wish you and mom were back together. We split when he was 12. My jaw drops every time I hear it because the entire situation was beyond toxic for all 3 of us. I hope he understands that one day. Hedge fund manager with a trophy wife. Does he own the Mets? He used to, but then he shorted GME. My high school ex randomly sent me a text years after we split up that went, I know you don't like metal, but I thought you'd like this, and a link to a clarinet cover of a metal song I played in HS. Little did he know that I hated playing clarinet and I was now a total metalhead. The circle of life. Why does this sound like a rom-com slice of life story? I briefly worked with mine and didn't realize it was her until I left for another job. She looked almost unrecognizable, but it was 15 years after I last saw her. She's married with a couple of kids now, so pretty standard life, I guess. Making me wonder what I ever saw in them. I concur. My only GF in high school was my crush. Her mom banned her from dating me after about a year because my GF admitted to her mom that we were fooling around. This was about 20 years ago. She's still living with her mom, no kids, and as far as I know never again dated seriously after her mom broke us up. Still has the same job from high school too. It's like her mom went way into protective overdrive and my former GF never grew up. Fuck. Yeah, it sucks. Even 20 years later, married with wife and kids, I still think about her on occasion. Weird how a first love keeps popping into your head. There are 3 women here on my street, they are my neighbors. They don't live on the street, that are old, one in her 50s and the others in their 60s, and never had a partner. 2 of them are sisters and live together, the other lives alone. They all had the same story, their parents were too strict and never let them date anyone. So now they're old and are socially awkward. The sisters never even had a pet before their mom died. Now they have a cute puppy. I find their situation really sad. You should respect your parents, but you shouldn't follow only their will. Still hot af. You just made me remember how I feel when I have crushes. Thanks for the memories. I think you mean THNKS father THMMRs. Yup, still doesn't know I exist too. You made me check, and she is actually a very successful artist and an art teacher at a renowned university in France. She even got decorated for her work, Chevalier des Arts et des Lettres. Edit. Thanks for the attention. I'm not really willing to give much more details. I'm just going to add that she's French and she's not teaching in Paris. Dag, this award in France is kind of a big deal when you're an artist. Probably even a big deal if you aren't. Overdosed and died last year. I got to see him before he was taken off life support with a really good mutual friend we shared, organ donor too. It was surreal seeing him dwarfed by all these machines. He had one of the largest hearts I've ever come across. Edit. Graduated back in the early 2000s and last year 2019, WTF is time even anymore. He had one of the largest hearts I've ever come across. Given that you mentioned he was an organ donor, I legitimately do not know if you mean this figuratively or literally. Jesus Christ. Still super hot. She married some loser and has a few kids with him. That loser was me. Just celebrated 22 years of marriage. Edit. Cause words are hard. You're not a loser if you bagged a hottie like her. She just has poor taste in men. Your wife and mine, both married lucky guys. Honestly, I think men undervalue the safety, security, and trust of just being caring people who value their spouses. Even if you think she could do better, I think you're looking at a bunch of examples of people who outwardly might appear to have their shit together, or more money, etc., but it all sucks and is a facade, and those people use that stuff as compensation for actual relationship investment and time. Undersell your value even if it looks different from the rest. Still a 10 for looks. I'm sure she kept on as the amazing, kind person she is. She moved to another country, speaks multiple languages and is more successful than I imagined. She seems happy, but we haven't talked since the time I told her how I felt about her about 20 years ago. Lol, that last sentence, ouch. Did we have the same school crush? I don't think so, my crush was your mom. Went on to be a teenaged model for hair products, graduated from Yale, toured Europe, opened her own successful ceramics company that is sold worldwide and is often written up in magazines. Makes me feel like shit every time I think of her. Was it really a crush if it doest make you feel like shit? Well, if your crush turned out to be a terrible person, you could comfort yourself by saying that you dodged a bullet there. Hot douche who doesn't really do much except go to the gym. To be fair, that's how he was in high school, I just liked it back then. If you always wanted to date Chip Matthews from high school, you're going to end up on a date with Chip Matthews from high school. She ended up getting knocked up by a freshman shortly after we graduated. A college freshman or a high school freshman? High school. I was a freshman and had a crush on a senior. To add to it, she was a cheerleader and her brother played QB for the football team, and got a college scholarship. She showed up at a football game a couple of years later with a baby in tow. She's married now and back in her hometown. That's about all I know. I thought you were going to say the brother had something to do with that baby. He does. He uncled the baby. Dead by 32, drugs. I'm only 8 years out of HS and with a class of 90, over 10 are dead because of alcohol and drugs. There must be something in the water. Edit. To make it worse, we were the only school for a county the size of Maryland. By the time we graduated, half a dozen died. More just kept dying. More than 10 if you count freak accidents. We really try to die lol. Pretty good. Seems to have her life together, although she had a few setbacks. She's gone back to UE since job prospects in her field kinda sucked, but seems to be really enjoying it. She's dating me though, so clearly her judgment sucks. FKU, had me in the first half, but congrats. My first high school crush who sat next to me in freshman year English was a really cute punk rock girl, and she's gone on to become an incredibly hot fitness model. Jackie was a rich punk rocker, a silver spoon on a paper plate. One I don't keep track of at all, I'm not sure what she's up to. The other I married, she turned out awesome. Blink twice if you are being held hostage. SHHH. She'll hear you. Going to an all-boys school sucks for having realistic crushes. However, ran into one of the teachers years later and she still looked bellissima. I went to an all-girls school. Crushes were desperate and far between. That's not what the educational films on the internet tell me.